Boom, boom. This is Kendra, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little bit of Azur Lane up today. So, as you know, we had a big update yesterday. So, one of the updates that came through was we have some new priority ships. So, let's go ahead and take a look at these new ships here. So, you'll see priorities down here, and you choose 5. So, 5 is the new one that just came out with. So, let's talk a little bit about the ship. So, let's go ahead and talk. We'll start off with Plymouth. Now, understand we really haven't had a chance to actually use any of these ships yet. Okay, so we don't know what they're going to be. Now, she is a what they consider a DR ship, because if you look at combat data collection, if it's 1,000, or 1 million, I'm sorry, it's considered a PR ship. If it's 1.2 of experience, they consider that a DR ship. So the DRs are slightly a little better. Okay. So most people are considering her to be the best ship for this season, Plymouth. Okay. Humongous damage output, and she's just a light cruiser, which is what makes her, so good in terms of that. Okay. She also has a buff. Okay. And she buffs the flagship battleships damage by 18%. Okay. So you can put her in a third slot when you got any of your battleships in the in the section. If you're using Jersey. Okay. If you're using even if you're not going to look PR UR ships, you got Bismarck. Any type of battleship that you put, she's going to buff that flagship battleship. So that's an extremely interesting skill requirement for her. And it's what makes her one of the best things out there. Okay, so she's got Rejoice and Radiance. When this battleship starts, increases the ship's firepower and accuracy by 12. If sorted with another Royal Navy ship, or if this ship has Royal Navy gear equipped, increases the ship's evasion by 15. Okay, and then Pathfinder Shroud. This is another thing that makes her extremely good, and that's the fact that she's got, usually it's been called a smoke screen, is what like Belfast and the others have. It's called Shroud here. Okay, she becomes shrouded for 5 seconds, while shrouded. This takes 10% less damage. Become shrouded. She also restores 10%, so she does enable herself to heal. Okay, enemies hit this by this barrage become exposed for ships. Exposed enemies take 18% increased damage from your flagship if she is a BB, BC, or BBV. So you can't be putting like you don't want to be putting like a Shanana or something like that in the flagship slot, simply because of the fact that it's not going to apply to her. It has to be a battleship. Okay. So yeah, so that's it. She's really good skill. So most people are considering her based on that. They're considering her to be the best ship inside of the actual lookout here. So next we've got Prince Ruprecht. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. We'll have to make a determination. I think I'm saying it right. So we'll go from there. So good battleship. Okay, standard battleship. Okay. The thing about that is she's got an ox gun, so that could help out immensely. But they're talking about the range not being very good, so we'll have to see about that. She's accurate. Her barrage, they say it's weak, but it's accurate. So overall, so they're comparing her roughly with Odin. So not really something that you want to get. And she is a PR ship, so she only takes 1 million for the actual thing in there. So next is Harbin. Not bad. I like the fact that they finally got a Dragon Emperor ship inside of there. That's really nice that they're finally including them in, because if you can see, Plymouth was HMS, so she's Royal Navy, and Ruprecht was Ironblood. So standard format ships there, but now they've finally got a Dragon Emperor ship in there. So you might want to get this just for having a Dragon Emperor PR ship. If you're running a Dragon Emperor fleet, which you really can with the two new ships that what they've done with the ships with the missile lock and everything, it's really feasible to get a Dragon Emperor fleet out there that should be pretty good. So they finally got her. So in terms of that, there's the obvious thing here. Pretty good evasion, pretty good torpedo. Okay. Now, she's a light cruiser. She's not a destroyer. So that helps out a little bit as well, too. She double torpedo on a 3-second delay. So that's very consistent. So she could be a front runner. Whether or not she's going to be something to consider for actually changing the meta in PvP, we'll have to see. But she's a pretty good cruiser. Okay. But yeah, so you've got Udachi, which does pretty much everything she does. So really, the fan base for her is going to be pretty big because she's Dragon Emperor, and I might just build her simply because it's Dragon Emperor. And it's nice to have a priority ship from a much ignored fleet such as the Dragon Emperor. But with the new ships that they've got, okay. The missile DDs and whatnot. It's really possible to build a really good a fleet, and so should be a good entrance to that. So you can take that for what it's worth. Okay, so then we've got Kalab. Now, okay, now she really does pretty good damage, and considering that she's a PR ship, okay. Because we haven't had a chance to test her, we really can't say much. But the thing about it is, when the battle starts, increases the ship's aviation reload by 15%. So her damage is going to be increased. When the ship launches an airstrike, launches an additional level 10 special airstrike, damage based on 80% launch to chance and improve the airstrike. So she's got it really good. That's going to be really good. Increases this ship's damage dealt against medium and heavy armor enemies by 10%, and this is what makes her really good for clearing out mob chum, as we like to say it. Okay, so she's really good against clearing out, but we're not sure about how well she's. See, that's the problem with a lot of these ships. She's going to be able to wipe out a screen really fast, but in terms of actual damage to a boss, it's not really going to make her useful inside of boss fleets, but she will be good inside of mob fleets. So if you're looking to, if you're looking for some damage in terms of that, you're going to see that. But she's a really good ship. She's definitely a top tier ship, but we're just not sure about whether or not how useful she's going to be in boss fleets. But she's going to be able to wipe screens really good with the mobs. So mob fleet, she's definitely something you might want to consider. So that's where we're at for her. Okay, and then finally we've got Breast. Okay, so she's got a lot of survivability, which is good, and it's needed. She is a battle cruiser, so that's not really good. She's French too, which makes that even nicer. But really the main reason you want to use her is because she's got a heal. When this battle starts, increases this ship's speed by 3 and evasion by 10. If this ship has Iris Labor equipped, decreases this ship's main gun crit damage and AA by 15%. Okay. Increases this ship's fire by 10% when the battle starts. If there are 3 ships in your vanguard, increases this ship's evasion by 15% and decreased damage taken by 12%. And then Penich's Padan. So here's where we got that. So once every 8 times this ship fires her main guns, fires a level 10 special barrage. Damage based on skills level, of course. If this ship's main gun is a large caliber, it decreases the number of shots required to 4 and changes the property of this barrage. The first time this barrage fires every battle, restores 8% max hit point to the ship with the lowest percentage hit points left in your fleet. The second time this barrage fires, it restores 6% of this ship's max hit points. Okay, so we've got a targeted heal. Okay. So we've got, that's going to make her, because she's survivable and she can do a heal, that makes her a little bit more useful. I mean, but we've got Yuho and we've got San Francisco, which do targeted heals too. So it's not like This is new. But it's in the form of a priority ship. So she's going to be, she should be slightly better than that. Um, so a good place to use her might be in farming. Okay, so you have to consider that. Um, so for boss fights, she's really not that good single charge, but she is a DR ship, which means this is definitely something you want to look on. Plus, she's Iris Libri, so anytime you can get a chance to get one of the lesser known fleets and get a priority ship, or in this case, a DR ship for that, it's pretty interesting. So as you can see, so we got some pretty good ships. We're looking at Plymouth, probably the best. Okay, then simply because of the fact that she's got a lot of uses, and the buff for any battleship in the flagship position is just awesome. So that makes her exceedingly useful. Okay, second, I'd say Breast, simply because of the healing, and she's going to be good for farming, especially in the higher level farming, because of the ability to heal. Anytime you've got a high damage ship that can heal, it's useful. Okay, that's the only really knock against Yuho and San Fran. They do moderate damage, and they have a targeted heal. She's going to, she's going to do some damage, and she's going to have a heal, and it is targeted. It does focus on the lowest hit point percentage ship, so that makes it a little bit better. So that, I'd say that makes her second. I'd have to go simply count up there simply because uh, damage. She's got a lot of it. Okay, Harbin, Dragon Empress ship. So, but in terms of usefulness, you know, um, you can get the same thing. The only reason you might want to do her, like I say, is because she's a Dragon Emperor ship. But I'm not going to allow that to affect the ratings on the ship. I do like the fact that she's Dragon Emperor. But in terms of that, you can get Udachi retrofitted. Just make sure you have Udachi retrofitted, and you can get the same effect. Okay, okay. And then last, where I have to put root product. Okay, so that's where I've got my current thought. But this is all preliminary, guys. Don't take this very seriously at this particular point. We got to start building these ships and start utilizing them to see whether or not any will be able to actually motivate. But there are some good ships in there. But if you're looking for a first focus, I would suggest doing Plymouth, simply because New Jersey. Um, uh, it, Plymouth could be, she could shake up the meta, okay? Because right now the PvP meta that we're currently running, which is the best, has Jersey as the flag, okay, or Vittorio as the flag. Both are battleships, okay, and then we have Aquila in the back, who is aviation now, and we've got that simply because of the fact that we got Duca in the front line, so we've got Duca, Aquila, and then Vittoria, which is all of the same faction. So that's one of the reasons we have that setup. Also because Duca is an excellent torpedo. Um, so the back line, we could get some changing here. I'm not sure, but 18%. The problem with that is the fact that it only applies to the ships that under the effect of that. Of the skill. So, okay, but she's really got good damage output. So, uh, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So in Aquila, and then we've got so Plymouth. So Plymouth would have to take the place of one of the frontline ships. Okay, so you've got Duca. Okay, and you've got Anchorage. And you've got Shimikaz. So, that is the standard meta at this time. So I'm not exactly sure which one you would replace her with. Okay, but it's, so it's definitely something, have to determine. But if you're using a battleship as a flag, you might want to, think about it. Alaska is another priority ship. She buffs torpedo damage. Duca. Duca's needed with the Vittorio Aquila Duca setup, so you need to have those three. So Shimikaz would be the obvious replacement here, but I just don't know if that would be worth it. We're going to have to run. We're going to have to run her and see. But an 18% buff to the flagship is useful. So it could. yeah, we'll have to test out and see if it does, if it's worth something to switch out inside of the current meta. But it'll have to be analyzed. Everything's new. These ships just came out yesterday, so we don't know if anything like that is going to be feasible in terms of that. But it's something to look at. I won't be the first one to try it, but as soon as I find some information on it, you will. Also, check your mail. You should see some diamonds in there, just as a priority ship reward. Just here's some diamonds. I love that's one of the things I love about this game. They just throw out diamonds. I went ahead and used most of them to go ahead and get me 10 more slots on my dock. As I was running out of space, I was down to 515 to 520, so about 10 more dock slots. But yeah, so it's definitely something that you want to. Those are pretty good ships. So I'm probably going to go ahead and start doing Plymouth. I wonder if I can start doing Plymouth. Can I do Plymouth? I haven't really been focusing on any priority ships as of that, because I had the ones I wanted, which was, as you're gracing my screen right now, maxed out. And I've got Anchorage, which was the only one I was doing. So I wasn't really focusing on anything. I had looked at the 4s, but which is where I got it out right now, on Parsival, doing some damage collection on her. But I really didn't have that much of a shot to actually use her. But she is, she's just a priority ship. So I can come back to her later. I do really want to start working on Plymouth. And that'll be easy for me because I easily have the points to start her. So she's the one that you probably want to start. So set her up as your priority ship. Now remember, when you do this, you want to switch your main fleet around to an HMS fleet, because the data requirement is using Royal Navy Vanguard ships. So make sure that your Vanguard is Royal Navy so that you can get that. So we have several Royal Navy Vanguard ships that you could use. So you definitely want to focus on that. So make sure that you just set them up. So as you can see, lots of Royal Navy ships to choose from. Just make sure that your Vanguard is Royal Navy ships, so that every experience they earn will automatically cater to her, and you'll be able to get her built quickly. Okay, now I would expect that sometime they'll probably start introducing the fact that you can start using the actual speed, using the XP data packs for this, but that has not been introduced yet. Okay, so hopefully they'll have that introduced pretty soon, that you'll be able to use those within that. It'll allow you to speed it up a little bit. But as of right now, it does not seem to be an applicable thing, because I have a lot of them. So we'll see. Yeah, for right now, so this is going to have to be a base build. So it's going to take a little bit long, but you do got to start the clock on this. You should be able to finish, inside of 5 or 6 days, you should have the actual, the only thing you'll be working on will be the data collection, and then the 2.4 here, and the of course the 1.2 of the 1. So yeah, it's a lot of experience to earn it. It will take time, but she's a DR ship, so and she definitely is considered by most to be the best one in this particular season. So you definitely want to try to get her, get her made. Then you got to start. What you want to do is you want to go, once you've set her up, you go to your you got your research academy. Okay, change your focus to 5. Okay, because you want to do that, because that way it's going to focus up. You get a chance to get the named research projects, and you're going to be looking for ones for Plymouth. Okay, so yeah, make sure that you keep that in there. Okay, because that is something that you definitely want to get for the PR ships. All right, so that's all I got. Just a quick video. Just want to let you know this is all preliminary data. We haven't had a chance to do any firm testing, but this is just thoughts that that you get just from reading the skill sets, and it's guesswork at this point, but I think it's fairly accurate. And I think that I think Plymouth is as far as I'm concerned, I think she's the best, simply because of that buff that she's going to give the battles your battle flagship, as long as it's a battleship. And since the meta um, requires that for PvP, this it definitely could make her something that you might want to use. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it, because one of the really good things about the PvP meta, for those of you new to the channel, let me give you. We'll go ahead and show you exactly why the meta is what it is. Okay, the meta is what it is simply because of the fact that it does a ton. The three ships in the front. I'm still using Nishiro because I haven't got anchorage up to 125 yet. Nishiro buffs torpedo. So the reason these ships do so well is because of the fact. Look, I'm 111. This is 132, and she's got 14 and 13 BP. But as you can see, it, it just takes down the front line so quick. So yeah, hardly no damage, and yeah, level 132. This is easily the meta. You should not have any trouble, doing that during the day. It's the primary meta, and it works really, really well. Because of the fact, so you've got Nishiro buffing. These guys are a Shimikaze UR ship throwing out, torpedo, Duga torpedoes. So you got a wave, and Nishiro does a torpedo, and she buffs torpedoes. So you've got the whole front screen is just wiping with torpedoes coming out, and it literally decimates a vanguard. And once the vanguard's gone, the back line's open, and then they just take some out. And that's what so makes it such a good, excellent thing, is how well it can eliminate the vanguard, so that you can get to the back line. So this is what makes, and that's why the PvP meta is so this. So I'm not sure if putting Plymouth in, it's gonna now Plymouth is gonna buff. Plymouth is going to buff, of course, whoever you've got in the backline, the flagship position, which is the center back flagship position. Okay, so she's going to buff. Most put Vittorio into the actual thing and then we've got Duca, we've got Aquila. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be worth it, but we'll have to see. Okay, it's really difficult to say at this point, simply because of the fact that it's difficult to predict if that 18% is really going to be, because the meta, you're going to be getting rid of your meta, which is the torpedoes taking out the front line, the back. Yeah, that's where the key comes from. Okay, so that's what makes this so good, is the fact that you're taking out the front line so fast. And the reason you're taking out the front line of the enemy so fast is because of torpedoes. So putting a ship in that's not going to, it's going to mess up that, because the replacement is Nushiro in this, and you put anchorage in there. Anchorage does torpedoes too. So, and she's a priority ship, and she has a ton of health. She has more survivability. That's why you want to put her in. I'm really close to getting her to 125. She should almost be there, actually, and I can start motivating her into that slot. I was just waiting for her to get to 125 so that I could actually, then I was going to start putting her in. Yeah, so I just, I don't think that it's going to break the meta. I think the meta is still going to be the same. So she's at 118. As you can see, I've got her ready to go. Okay. Skill set, level 10 barrage. Okay, here, when the ship fires or torpedoes, 75 chance to fire special barrage. Okay. If this barrage fails to activate, instead decreases the load time of the ship's next wave. Okay, so torpedo clit. Hide and seek. Evasion rate. When this ship fires or torpedoes, deploys a smoke screen and barrier. Smoke screen lasts and increases your evasion rate by 40 for all of your ships in it. Okay, this barrier lasts 5 seconds, can absorb damage up to 6% of the ships. If this barrier is destroyed before it expires, this ship gains 100 precision. So survivability, she does not die. and that's one of the reasons that we're really consider replacing you know, her with in front. So we'll have to see. But I don't think it's going to break it. But I'm going to go ahead and make Plymouth, and we'll see. But I don't think the 18%, and it's not like a buff that you automatically get. It's only that are affected by the skill or her other skill. So it's not an all the time 18% buff to the battleship. So I don't think it's going to be very useful at this particular point. But we'll see how it goes. But it is something worth noting. All right. So again, thanks a lot for watching. Remember to subscribe. Once you've subscribed, you'll see the bell. Click on it. You get notified each time I drop a video. Kidder coming at you in the corner. Signing out.